Hi, I'm going to give you a little bit of help with Caesar's Commentaries on the Gallic Wars 27:9. That's in Stedman's Lesson 21. This lesson begins at 27:7 in the middle of Ambiorix's speech. Ambiorix, the leader of the Eburones, who had attacked the Roman camp stationed there. And he's talking to Arpineius and Unius, the envoys sent by Titurius and Cotta. Ambiorix has just told the envoys that it was not by his own will that the Eburones attacked the Roman camp, but rather at the instigation of the citizens, of the city-state, literally. He also said that since all of Gaul was uprising against the Romans, it would be hard to be the only ones to say no. So here Ambiorix is saying that since by doing these things, engaging in the uprising, he's done enough for his duty to the state, now he can have a regard for his duty to Caesar. And he wants to warn Titurius that he should take care, watch out for his own safety and the safety of his soldiers, and that a great band of Germans has crossed the Rhine and would be there in a couple of days. Let's look more closely at the next sentence, which is not an easy one. Because we're in oratio obliqua, we know that our infinitive is going to be our main verb, and this accusative is going to be either the subject or the predicate. Since the verb to be comes first, it's likely going to be translated as it was or there was. The reason I'm saying was is that the main verb is past tense, and so our present infinitive should be translated as a past. So it was the plan of them themselves. This is not a reflexive, it's an intensive. Of those men themselves, or those very men, meaning the Romans, because this is Ambiorix talking. So it was the plan of the Romans themselves. And with that verb and predicate, that's our main clause. And unless we have some kind of coordinating conjunction, all the rest of these words are subordinate. They're just going to give us some more information. So let's take a look at that. The first thing we should notice is this ne, which introduces a question in Latin, but there is no question mark, so that means that we must be in an indirect question, and the fact that our verb is subjunctive confirms that. There's no interrogative, there's no question word, and in English, an indirect question without a question word is introduced with whether. So we're going to say, it was their plan, whether they want. We're likely going to have a complementary infinitive with that well-end, but first let's notice this little subordinate clause introduced with priusquam and go into the subjunctive sentiant. Priusquam takes a subjunctive. That's a pretty simple little subordinate clause. If we want to, we can get it out of the way right where it stands. We can say it was their plan whether they want before their neighbors realize, and then we can go to our complementary infinitive. To lead away. Let's go back for our direct object, soldiers. Eductos is a participle modifying soldiers, so to lead away soldiers from the winter camps. Eductos is unfortunately pretty redundant. To lead away soldiers led away from the winter camps. To lead them away, either to Cicero or to Labienus. You may remember that, let's look more closely. You may remember that Cicero is stationed here with his legion among the Nervii, and that Labienus is stationed with his legion among the Remi in the territory of the Treveri. And so Titurius Sabinus and Cotta, who are stationed among the Eburones, but have now been warned by Ambiorix, may try to get to march to Cicero among the Nervii or to Labienus among the Remi. So again, Ambiorix is saying that it's up to the Romans whether they want to lead their troops out to either Cicero or Labienus before the neighboring city-states realize what they're doing. Here's another relative clause, which brings us all the way to the end of the sentence. We don't know yet if quorum is going to be whose or of which, so let's hold off on that for a second. The hint is alter, which is clearly the nominative, and that means the other, or if it's correlative, then it means the one and the other. So let's look and see if there's another one. Aha, so there are two. So this is going to mean the one and the other. So I think quorum sounds like a partitive genitive with that. One of which or one of whom. Let's see, what's the antecedent to quorum? Is it a person or a thing? Well, there are two of them because of alter. So we've just seen Cicero and Labienus, two men, one of whom and the other of whom. There's going to be parallel construction here. We just need to find the verb. And here it is, opposite is away. So one of whom is away from them. That's going to be the Romans. And then we have not a direct object because opposite doesn't take a direct object, but we have an accusative of space. Milia passuum means miles because it really means thousands of steps. And how many miles? Quinquaginta means 50. This ginta is for counting by tens. So buginti is 20, then triginta, quadraginta, quinquaginta, sexaginta, septuaginta, octoginta, nonaginta, and then centum. And then when you count by hundreds, you do centi. So ducenti, trecenti, and so on. Circute is an adverb, so about 50 miles. So one of whom is about 50 miles away from them, and the other of whom is a little more away from them. This adverb is a comparative adverb, amplius from amplus. Here's an ablative of degree of difference. So a little bit farther, farther by a little bit, or more by a little bit. So the other is a little bit more away from them. It looks like Cicero is the one who's about 50 miles away from them, and Labienus is the one who's a little bit more, although it seems quite a bit more to me. Okay, I hope that helped. See you in class.